Is this thing on? Who cares? Let's ride anyway. Is this thing on? What a professional. Jeez. Good morning and welcome back to me and my shadow. How in the heck is everybody doing today? I hope everybody is doing well. It is a balmy Friday morning. Ignore that clock. Clock's been wrong forever. It's been 9:47 for months. Important thing is that the power supply still works just fine, and I didn't get it for the clock. When I'm on the road, on my bike, I really don't care what time it is. Recently, I've been getting quite a few questions about the Honda Shadow 750, American Classic Edition, the Aero, the Spirit, anything Shadow related. And so I thought I would go through, I've done a video on this before, but that was a long time ago, so I thought I would go ahead and do another video in regards to some reasons why before you go out and you purchase a Honda Shadow 750, new or used, American Classic, an older one like this one. This happens to be a 2003. Or an Aero or a Spirit. Some things that you might want to consider, because let's face it, guys, when you buy a motorcycle, it's an investment. You're going to be spending a little chunk of change. So here's my list on things you need to consider before you ever buy a Honda Shadow 750. Now let's say there's a lot of different motorcycles out there. There's a lot of different makes, a lot of different models, and a lot of different brands. And a lot of people, if you're, well, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but if you're like me, you probably want to start out with something that you know you can handle and that you know is going to be reliable. Now, the aesthetics and the look, in my humble opinion, of the Honda Shadow 750 is perfect. There isn't much to dislike in regards to this motorcycle. Say what you will about the newer models, but there's not a whole lot to dislike when it comes to the Honda Shadow 750. But if you want to have that brand image, right? If you want your wife, your significant other, your friends to all go, "Oh my gosh, look at that motorcycle he purchased. Did you hear? He bought an Indian. Did you hear? That crazy guy went out, purchased a freaking Triumph. Did you hear? That lady went out, that crazy girl went out and bought herself a Harley. Guess she's going through a midlife crisis." Then the Honda Shadow 750 probably isn't for you. And a lot of people will probably be like, "Nah, yeah, he got himself a motorcycle." Because as far as like high esteem, as far as brand value goes, I don't think the Honda Shadow 750 stands out. Now, it does stand out once people get used to the bike. Or what I get a lot of questions on is people will be like, "Hey, that's a nice bike, man. What is that?" You get that question a lot. "I really like the looks of your motorcycle. What brand is that? That's a Honda? That's a Shadow? What is that?" And you have to kind of introduce them to it. So if you want that instant name brand recognition, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please, then the Honda Shadow 750 may not really be the bike for you. Reason number 2. If you want a motorcycle, honestly, that's going to sit in your garage and you get a lot of practice on cleaning carburetors, adjusting things, tinkering, and you want to learn, you want to tear that motor apart, because you have to tear that motor apart. Because if you don't tear that motor apart, the motorcycle isn't going to keep running. Then the Honda Shadow 750 is not for you. I can tell you from a reliability standpoint, honestly, guys, this motorcycle is almost 100% bulletproof. Now, you have to take care of it. You do have to learn, don't get me wrong, you have to learn some maintenance. You have to learn oil changes. You have to learn chain maintenance. If you get an older one, this bike is not shaft driven, it is chain driven. In my opinion, I like the chain better, even though it does take a bit more maintenance. But if you want a motorcycle that's going to sit in your garage, torn open, and you can really dig into the guts of it and learn, how it works, then, because you have to, then the Honda Shadow 750 is probably not for you. This bike is bulletproof. You get what you pay for, right? I left my turn signal on. Isn't that wonderful? Mr. Professional. That's right, I'm turning left in a parking spot. What was I saying? Okay, back to the topic. Sorry. So easily distracted. But if you want a motorcycle that you have to spend a lot of money on, like, let's say Harley. I like to pick on Harley a lot because they're dang expensive. I like the bikes, but they're expensive. Then the Honda Shadow 750 is probably not going to be for you. But if you want a motorcycle that you can get into for maybe a couple grand, depending on the year and the model, or even brand new for under 10 grand, then the Honda Shadow 750 might be something that you want to look into. But if you're into spending a lot of money, you get what you pay for, right? Then the Honda Shadow 750 is not in that price point. But let me tell you something. With the Honda Shadow 750, it's at a fair price point, in my opinion, for what you get. So there's that. If you're looking for a motorcycle that's going to go ahead and give you 80 miles to the gallon, then the Honda Shadow 750, in my opinion, is not going to be the bike for you, okay? It's only going to get you 50 or 55. Somebody please out there give me a car besides the Prius that's going to get you that kind of gas mileage, okay? Before you get all bothered by it. Is the Honda Shadow 750 great on gas? I would say yes, for what it is. But is it stellar? No. 50, 55 miles to the gallon. I've gotten 57 a couple times, depending on how you ride it and how you maintain it. So there's that to consider as well. Anyway, let's talk about performance of the motorcycle, okay? If you are looking for a motorcycle that's just going to rip your face off as soon as you crack the throttle just a little bit, like end up in your neighbor's garage, oops, hello, and a horn that works, end up in your neighbor's garage across the street because you just barely touched the throttle, then the Honda Shadow 750 is probably not going to be for you. Does it have power? Well, yes, it does. It has plenty of power. I wish it had a 6th gear, to be honest with you. There's only 5 gears on the Honda Shadow 750 American Classic Edition, and on all of them, to my knowledge, there is no 6th gear. But the band of the 5th gear is really wide open, so this is a pretty nice little neighborhood down this road. I like it. Lots of trees, lots of shade. Yes. Uh-oh. For those of you that may have watched my previous videos, I always run into trouble with trash trucks. So anytime I see one, a bolt of fear goes through my brain. Anyway, again, digressing. Back to the topic, Tim. Stay on topic. So if you're looking for something that is going to be super high performance, really, really blows your socks off, pulls you back in the seat every time you accelerate, then the Honda Shadow 750 is not going to be the bike for you. Now, if you're looking for something that is very forgiving, has plenty of power, can keep up with traffic just fine, rides the interstate just fine, then the Honda Shadow 750 really might be for you, because this bike is very forgiving. You can crack on this and it gives you plenty of oomph, plenty of power, but it doesn't, in my opinion, I've ridden other bikes that will really blow your socks off. And I'm sorry guys, the Honda Shadow 750 doesn't really do that. So there's that. So you got price point, that's always good. You've got looks, you've got reliability, and of course the power and the weight of the bike. That's another one. If you're looking for a big heavy cruiser, right, if you're looking for something that is got a lot of, I call it displacement, right, a lot of room for two up, a lot of power, anything above probably 1,000 cc's or maybe even 900 cc's, the Honda Shadow 750 is probably not going to be for you. If you're looking for something that is going to have that long touring effect where you're comfortable, what do they call them, a couch recliner or whatever, then the Honda Shadow 750 may or may not be for you, because it is right there at the cusp. However, when you buy those bigger 1100cc to 1800cc motorcycles, let's take the Honda BTX 1800 for example, there's a trade-off. Yes, you're getting more power, a lot more power. It's a beast, that machine is. But you're also getting more weight. Okay? For newer riders, or for getting back on the bike, or for older riders that maybe don't want as much weight anymore, it's just a little harder to hold up the bike. And I've said this before, the Honda Shadow 750 is probably right in that range where it may be a little bit too heavy, but not quite. It's just a little under 500 pounds wet, meaning full of fuel. But the good thing about the Honda Shadow 750, if you're looking, is its low placement of the engine. So all the weight is in the middle of the bike and it's down low. There's nothing top. This bike is not top heavy. So when you do this, when you swerve, when you're taking the weight back and forth and things like that, it's a lot easier to manage, and it doesn't trip you up with any higher displacement of weight. There's some motorcycles that are really top heavy, especially when you have them full of fuel, and it can make them unwieldy and a little bit hard to get used to. I'm not saying that you can't get used to it and don't buy one that's top heavy. It's just a different animal as far as learning goes. So for an inexpensive price, you can get yourself in a really decent mid-range motorcycle that's highly reliable. It's not going to be sitting in your garage torn apart. That's going to get the looks and the appeal that you're looking for. Besides, in my opinion, honestly, yes, we're all a little vain and we all want a bike that looks good. I mean, let's face it, we do. And trust me, I think my bike, my own personal opinion, is freaking awesome. Then the Honda Shadow 750 is for you if you want those things. Now, if you're looking for name brand recognition, if you're looking for something that's going to wow your neighbors by parking it in your driveway, and unfortunately some poor motorcycles sit for months and months and never get ridden. They just sit there like a display piece in a museum. Look at my Harley out in the driveway. Look at my Harley, it's in the garage. I'm picking on Harley too much. Look at my Triumph, isn't that pretty? Look at my Indian Chieftain, isn't that beautiful? I never ride it, but it sure is pretty. Woohoo! If you are looking for a motorcycle that you can really make your own, a good friend of mine, I mentioned him 1,000 times, Lucky Aces, turned his into, he bobbed it out. The aftermarket for these is, and I'm a broken record, I know, anything you want to buy, highway bars for it. This bike didn't come with highway bars, saddlebags, hard shell saddlebags, soft shell, whatever. You can get it, windshields, you can get, my gosh, the list goes on and on and on. But the point is that you can make the motorcycle really, really yours, okay? You can make it something that is 100% your personality, 100% yours. Me, on this, I thought about turning it into almost like a mini bagger, putting a fairing on it, a Batwing fairing on it, which don't look bad, and believe me, I'm still not 100% against the idea, but that's probably for a different bike. I wanted to keep this one more old school, the more of what the design was looking for. But heck, man, if you don't like my handlebars, you can change them out. You can get mini apes, you can get big apes, you can get whatever you want. You can change the grips, the mirrors, anything you want. Now, in my case, I've changed the saddlebags out, I've changed the seat, the stock seat I rode with for years, but as I've gotten up in age, I got memos from the ass department saying that they were not happy anymore. And when your butt is starting to think about forming a union against the management, it's time to make a change. So I did. Point being, guys, without being, and I'm way too long-winded as usual, the point being that this motorcycle rocks. It ticks all of the boxes. So if you're a new rider, if you're returning rider, if you're someone that's looking to downsize from that bigger bike, then consider the Honda Shadow 750. It's plain and simple. It's good, it's reliable, it's got plenty of power, it looks great. Fuel mileage, is what you make of it, I guess. Fuel range, I should say. If you want to take those day trips, if you want to take those longer trips, it can be and it will be done on the Honda Shadow 750. But if you want to putz around town, if you want something that's lightweight for more maneuverability in and out, you know, if you use it to go to work every day, or if you use it to just run up and go shopping, like parking lot maneuverability and things like that, control of the bike. It's not big, heavy, and ungainly, but yet it's big enough that it has all the power you need. That's the main things that I say. So if you're looking for that name brand, sorry, I'm going to pick on you again, Harley, where you're going to spend a lot more money to start out with or to downsize to, then be my guest, man. It's all up to you. It's what you really want, right? It's what we all really want that matters. What really matters more than anything else is getting out there and riding. I'm highly recommending the Honda Shadow 750 because to me, and to a lot of you guys out there, again, left my turn signal on. Dang it, I really need to move this this mount right here because I'm not looking at my turn signal. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. All I'm saying is, for me, this bike ticks every single box. It's got that reliability, which is super important to me. When I take this motorcycle out somewhere and I want to get back on it and make it home, this bike does the job. It never fails me. Yes, you're going to have to do your oil changes. Yes, you're going to have to do your maintenance on the bike. And yes, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, of course you can take it to your dealership. Anyway, those are just some... So guys, those are some things to really consider before you purchase a motorcycle for the first time, or if you're looking to downgrade, or if you're looking to get back into it, or if you just want a second good bike, third good bike, fourth good bike. If you want a fourth good bike, and let me tell you, I'm jealous. So that's all I got today. If you guys have any questions about this motorcycle, anything I've done to it, or anything that can be done to it, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know. I appreciate all comments. I appreciate everybody watching. And I do have some videos that you can check out if you'd like, in regards to, say, these highway bars, or putting on this this beautiful Mustang seat and how that all went. You can check out the video right here, or right here, or right here, or right somewhere on here. And you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching me in my shadow.